Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who understand that there's more to entrepreneurship than finding the latest flash-in-the-pan strategies, who understand that in order to build your empire, you need a solid foundation. I wholeheartedly believe that entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey you can be on, and it's my mission to help you make that journey easier. I help you transition from a struggling, overwhelmed, and overworked entrepreneur to the relaxed and confident CEO and conscious creator of your dream life that you are meant to be. In this show, I bring together the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. I share my own experiences and knowledge as a molecular biologist and mindset coach for high-achieving entrepreneurs, and I interview other top scientists, coaches, and entrepreneurs so that you can get all the expert tips and strategies to help you trust yourself more, worry less, make better decisions, be more productive, stay focused and organized, and build your legacy. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist and mindset coach behind the show, and you're listening to the Wired for Success podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the second part of my interview with best-selling author, motivational speaker, radio show host, and podcast host Stephanie Mearse. If you missed part one of our interview, make sure you download the previous episode in which she shared how she did not let tough childhood experiences crush her dreams and how she chose positivity instead. We also talked about finding your passion and purpose in life, and she shared her favorite tips for creating a positive mindset. So make sure you listen to that. In part two of the interview, we will dive deeper into the root cause of perfectionism and how to manage it, how shifting just one core belief can change your entire life, and so much more. So enjoy the episode. So from my own experiences and from my work with my one-on-one clients, I know that one of the biggest challenges when it comes to creating a positive mindset is managing expectations. So I'm not just talking about all the expectations from, your family, your friends, your partner, or even society at large, but also all those pervasive and often ridiculously high expectations that we set for ourselves. So hello, perfectionism. And I know that you know what I'm talking about because you've written an entire book about that. And it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called Women of Perfection, Perfectly Imperfect. And it talks about this perceived need for perfection, and that so many of us experience. And now I'd love to hear your best tips and strategies for managing that pressure of the external and the internal expectations.
Absolutely. I love that you brought this up. So one of the biggest things, so if you've come from a childhood of anything, I mean, it doesn't have to be to the extreme that I had to go through. I mean, anything. You could also come from an adulthood or early adulthood where you just feel chaos and not structured. Or if you feel like things are just never consistent. Perfectionism usually comes from people who had a very inconsistent life, or a lack of structure, or a really bad thing that happened to them. That's usually what perfectionism is. Perfectionism is basically being able to take your life and put it to an extreme controlled situation. And if you're controlling everything, control usually comes from fear, which usually comes from the drawing a blank right this moment, but the core beliefs that the person is dealing with. Right. So it starts, you see perfectionism on the outside, but the inside is clearly just a core belief or issue that they're having. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole different process in this. Okay, guys. So it's not like, okay, well, I'm a perfectionist. Oh, I'm no longer a perfectionist. That's not a thing. I mean, if you figured out how to do that, please tell me, because I still haven't seen that level. I would be highly impressed by this. But typically there's levels to it, right? The outside is a representation of a negative thing that's happened in the inside. So one of the biggest things that I've learned as a perfectionist, again, massive perfectionist, because I was expecting a life of Hallmark, again, perfection, right, guys? Like, so I expected a life of Hallmark, everything to be that level of perfection. And realized it was completely unrealistic to have that lifestyle. And so I realized in that time that it came from this need of control, that then came from the fear, that then came from a core belief that I had from my childhood. Again, that can come from anything. It's not necessarily your childhood. That can come from, maybe your teen years or your early 20s or whatever that is. It could even be in your 30s or 50s and then eventually become a perfectionist. Usually it's just this lack of the lack of control that you feel, that you then want that control and everything to be that level of whatever your version of perfectionism is. So each person has a very different view of perfection. Nobody has the exact same view of perfection, in my opinion. That could be debated on some people, but the reality is what I consider perfect, and I mean like perfect, is what somebody else would not necessarily consider perfect.
Yeah.
So again, we as perfectionists, or we with all of these expectations in our lives, have to break that down to, why am I feeling this way? Why do I have to be a perfectionist?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to feel that this mass amount of expectations in this one area? What's causing me to feel this way? And usually there's a core belief or something that we're dealing with in the inside that is bringing that out. And once you fix that core belief, and there's ways to do it, it's amazing how you're no longer becoming to that level of perfectionism. You're no longer that level of anger toward those expectations. There's no longer this level of expectation that you had before, because at that point you start realizing, you know what? I'm happy with where I'm at. Like, I'm good. And look how much I've achieved. Instead of always having to continue to achieve more and more and more, you start to realize, look what I just did, and start to really and amazingly be thankful for what you've done, and even more so are almost like celebrating, look what I achieved, instead of the constant perfectionism that says I'm not doing enough.
Yeah, and I think exactly the enoughness is one of the core beliefs. Like, I'm not enough is one of the core beliefs that often manifests in perfectionism. So for me, I think the not feeling like you're not enough and the fear of rejection, those are a perfect combination to create these high expectations and this fear that comes from perfectionism. And then we procrastinate, and we're afraid to be visible and to put ourselves out there, because those two things go hand in hand and create our behavior. And this in turn, of course, creates the results we see in our lives. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
Very important.
Yeah. And now that we've talked a little bit about managing those expectations, I think the one thing that is very closely linked to that topic is one's personal definition of success. So success is also something that means so many different things to different people. So it can be $1 million in your bank account. It could be fitting into your favorite dress. It could be being an amazing parent, or just making an impact, or traveling the world, and so much more. And I think it's just so super important to be really honest with yourself, and not just blindly following someone else's vision of success, but to really define your own vision of success instead. So I'm really curious, what does success look like for you? And what's the vision that you're trying to create for yourself?
I love that question. So success for me is, there's so definitions of success that just pop into my head, but my version of success is knowing that I'm helping somebody every single day.
I love that.
Every single day. And that could be a day where I wake up and I'm like helping 20 people. It could be my kids only for that day, but you know what? I still helped my kids to different levels that I ever did before. I was more present with my kids because I was knowing that I was helping them. I was helping somebody with, with life coaching, or helping somebody completely different with their financials, or helping, just knowing every single morning that I wake up and help somebody, and money again is a byproduct of all of that helping. All I'm doing is honestly knowing that I'm trying to make a difference in this world, trying to be a light in this world every single day in this dark, dark world. And knowing that in the end, those people will have been changed or helped in a way that only you could at that moment.
Oh,
That is my version of success. It's not money. It's not about materialism. It's not about, look how many businesses I have and look how much I'm achieving. Yes, those are all great. But every single day I wake up and say, who am I helping today? How can I be helping today? What am I doing that's making this world a better place?
This is so beautiful. Such a beautiful vision. Now, what do you find most challenging when you're trying to bring this vision of success to life? Because you must have bad days too, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Honestly, the perfectionism in me sometimes pops out, to be truly honest with you. Sometimes it will pop up, and whenever there is a highly stressful situation that comes in, or something pops up that is highly unexpected. Sometimes my love of planning, again, I love planning stuff in advance so that way I can have everything prepped and ready to go. So that way, again, it feels comfortable and I'm stressed out. So when something comes up that is stressful or that is unplanned, that sometimes will bring me into a level of, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like, how do I handle this? But then I'll stop, take a deep breath, and then I just write down lists, like everything that comes to my head for that moment. I call it a mind dump. I literally will write it down and just write down everything that comes to my head. And that could be, literally anything, like, oh my God, I forgot to change the laundry over, or, oh gosh, my son has to do this today. Everything. And then at that moment, it's amazing how I can clear my head and see a whole different view of how I can reapproach that situation. And again, that could be an entire day of me freaking out. It's not like that 5 minutes. Okay. That could be an entire day of me being like, oh my gosh, how do I deal with that? Cause it could be a really big situation that you're like, holy moly. Cause again, every person, no one's perfect. And so for me to say, oh, it takes me 5 minutes to get over my problems every single day, that's not true. But the reality is by the end of the day, by the end of each and every day, I want to make sure I open my next day to a clean slate. So I make sure I do that mind dump if I'm still struggling with it at the end of the day. Yeah. And it's amazing how I have my task list for the next day. So I don't feel that next day of, oh my gosh, I go into that next day or that new day with my task list that then keeps me on point for a successful day.
Oh, I love that. And I love writing. So I have lots and lots of lists as well. So from the shopping list to the to-do list, to the weekly to-do list, the monthly to-do list, all the lists. And I love journaling too. So when you're in this situation where you feel torn and you just don't know which way to go, I find that writing is just something that always kind of clears the mind and the head, because when you bring it on paper, there's something magical that happens that just transforms it from this overwhelm and it's like just too much and it's all in your head, and then you have it on paper and it's so much more it seems so doable after that. You have a list, you have a plan, and then it's all good again.
Exactly.
The planner in us.
I love it.
So that what never ceases to amaze me is how often it's just that one limiting belief that we need to shift in order to create this massive breakthrough in our lives and to get closer to our vision of success. So when you think back, what was the one belief that held you back most when you started out on your entrepreneurial journey, and how did you shift it?
That's a great question. Well, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, right? A lot. Like, things I remember being told most of my childhood, oh, I was ugly and fat and like just so many, I'm stupid, like most of my life. So I would say the one limiting belief that I had probably the biggest struggle with is that I am enough. Like we talked about earlier, that I am enough to do these things for, that I am enough, that I am pretty, that I am, that the things that I had to really overcome was definitely the biggest one was I am enough. And once I got past I am enough to do these things, I am enough to be who I want to be, and that I am perfectly imperfect the way I am, and that's okay. It's amazing how once I got over that limiting belief is that I am enough. And I really didn't really truly get over that limiting belief when I first started my entrepreneur, believe it or not. It was after I had already started everything, and I had went to a conference and they made us do core belief issues, and as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, that's where that comes from. I see that now. And it's so funny because as soon as I did this book, she's phenomenal. She's an emotional intelligence coach. She's a good friend of mine. But once I did this entire conference with her, it was amazing because I got over that core belief and was like, I am enough. I got this. And then I went to even new levels once we had already started and the finances, the women's empowerment group. I had already started these things, still like knowing that I got over my fears, but still not that I am enough yet, right?
That's deep.
So I was still moving forward, even in fear. But once I got to the I am enough, I was no longer moving in fear the way I was before. Let's just say that. And it's amazing how once I got over that, new levels of new opportunities were coming my direction, literally coming my direction. In 1 year, you can have literally almost all of your goals achieved in 1 year. I mean, it's amazing if you have the right mindset. You get over your own core beliefs, your own issues, and really get yourself to new levels that you didn't even know you could do, especially in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years. It's amazing how your mind can do so much more than you ever knew until you get past that.
So true. It has absolutely been the same for me, and I've had the same one. So the same, that I'm not enough one, that was causing so many issues in so many different areas of my life. And it's so funny how you never realize you have those beliefs, and they create all these patterns in your life, but you're just unable to see it because they're subconscious and you're just not aware of them. And I always like to tell my audience how your beliefs, even those subconscious beliefs, they create your emotions, and those emotions create your behavior, and then your behavior creates your results. So if you could summarize it, how did that one shift influence not only your behavior, but also how you showed up and then the results you saw in your life? If you could summarize that and just...
Absolutely. I'm going to summarize it in one word.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Yes.
I started having confidence in everything I did. So once I had confidence in what I was doing in every aspect, it was amazing how all of a sudden things were now attracted to me because I was confident. Because I was excited about what I was doing more so than ever before, because I had gotten over my I am enough situation, right? My core belief. And the confidence that came in, it was almost kind of like, I am enough. I have confidence now, and everything just went so much more smoothly because my emotions were no longer, oh, I don't know. What if that person doesn't think enough about me? What if, yeah, exactly. And your emotions are just kind of this big ball of crazy, right? Of an emotion. And then all of a sudden, if you're confident, that emotion is just like, I got this. I got this. I'm good. And it's amazing when you have that streak of just confidence and emotion is right there with it, with your mindset being positive. Amazing things come from that core belief no longer being there.
Yeah, absolutely. It frees up so much energy that you don't have to waste on worrying anymore. It's kind of amazing. And then you can focus all that energy into building what you truly want to build. And this is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So it's been such a pleasure talking with you, Stephanie. Before we end this episode, I've only got one more question for you. And this is, what's the best way for our listeners to connect with you and learn more about you?
Absolutely. So please feel free to check out my website, and you can email me, call me, whatever you need there. My website is Stephanie, STEPHANIE, MEARSE.com. So it's StephanieMearse.com. You're also welcome to, if you're interested in getting a free copy of my book, you're welcome to text, if you're in the United States at least, to 797-979 and just text perfection, and you're welcome to a free copy of my book. If you're outside of the United States, we'll happily send you that link. Just go ahead and email us at the website.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to put those links into the show notes so everyone can find you. And thank you again for being my guest on the Wired for Success podcast. It's been so great connecting with you and hearing your thoughts. And I'm sure our listeners will really appreciate your tips too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show. It would mean the world to me because you would help me reach more entrepreneurs like yourself who would love this show. If you'd like to learn more about creating a widely successful business without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity, make sure to stick around and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you think, heck yes, I want to listen to each and every one of these amazing episodes, but my day just doesn't have enough hours, well, if that's you, I have something special for you. To help me spread the word about this podcast, I've created a contest and I'm giving away some super cool prizes for those of you who take a sec to subscribe, rate, and review the show. And one of the amazing prizes that you can win is to watch me create my brand new Get Your Life Back Productivity Powerhouse course that teaches entrepreneurs how to win back 1 to 2 hours of precious time each day so that they can do all the things they love. I'll later sell that course for 997 euros, but as a thank you for supporting my podcast launch, you'll get to watch as I create it for free. And just like that, you will have enough time to listen to each and every Wired for Success episode. Woohoo! To find out more about the contest and the other amazing prizes, go to www.wiredforsuccess.solutions/launch-contest. See you next time.